moving averages. You can see moving averages here. You can see moving averages here, correct? So you have, it's very difficult to see, but now we're looking at Tesla. Man, I love this company. So one thing we're going to look at first is we're looking at each candle is 1 week, right? So you can confirm that we're looking at a really long time period because you can see the years down here. So we're looking at quite a few years here. So I want, hopefully, well, the reason I'm taking my time right now on this slide is because I'm hopefully, as I'm trying to do a progression through the video, I'm teaching support and resistance, consolidation, SMAs. I'm trying to teach in order. So I'm taking my time on this. So hopefully people are ready in their heads being like, hey, run a weekly here. This is a long-term chart. I see a lot of support. I see a lot of resistance on this long-term chart. I see a break. I see, breakouts. I see breakdowns. Hell, I see places where I should have probably bought Tesla, and I wouldn't have known anything about the company, and I could just look at my TA, and I would have known to probably buy here or to not buy here, depending on how long you want to hold it. So one thing about the Bollinger Bands, at least, is that you can see where it narrows, it's going to show less volatility, and where it widens, it's going to show more volatility, right? All right, whatever. All right, so these arrows on the left, you'll see that the cloud or the bubble or whatever you want to call it is narrowing because this little downtrend, this bearish downtrend to the left of it is consolidating a little bit more here. And essentially the price is staying within this. So it's staying. That's a pretty tight bubble right here, and then the price freaks out. It drops for whatever reason. Bad earnings report. I don't know. You never know. I mean, heck, Activision dropped a couple years ago just because of Call of Duty, whatever it was, dropped like 30% after DER, and that was a perfect pickup there. So you never know with stocks, but it's just they're great buying opportunities. Phenomenal companies like this, they drop big like this. I don't care who it is. It's just buy it up. And you'll thank yourself later. But so you'll see that the cloud or whatever you want to call it widened here and widens here. When the price starts skyrocketing, there's a lot of room vertically, right? A lot of room vertically. That means the stock price or the coin price is extremely volatile. I know that on most of the crypto sites that you will have a Bollinger Band opportunity. I know that's one of the few things that they offer, that Poloniex and those guys offer. So that's pretty cool, at least, I guess. You can do simple moving averages. I think they're a lot shorter on Poloniex, though. I think they're like 12 and 26, and they have Bollinger Bands on there as well. So Bollinger Bands, I have them on there just because I kind of got used to seeing them on there. I'm not a huge advocate of them. Some people love them. But the most important thing to me is they show price volatility. And I have volatility on here so many times because, I mean, that's truly what it shows with the narrowing and the widening of the bands, right? So you got to also think that I'd say probably about 90% of the trading takes place within the or 90% of the action, not trading, it's all trading, but 90% of the action takes place within the cloud. So some people, I think, get the misinterpretation that if the price breaks out of the band, then, oh my God, it's going to skyrocket, we're going to the moon, you need to hold on. But that's usually not the case. That's, and we talked about RSI. Well, we haven't talked about it yet. We're going to talk about it, but there was a request on it. But you talked about RSI showing overbought or oversold, right? But more times than not when I'm seeing it, and you can see it on this chart here where these left arrows are right here, that it breaks out a little bit, right? And yeah, sure, it breaks out a little bit more after that, but it's going to rise, or it's going to fall right back down after that. And again, over here on the right arrow, it breaks out again, but then there's this huge pullback, another buying opportunity, and then it skyrockets out here. But the important part, like I say, and I want to always reiterate, and I want to hammer it in you guys' heads, that you have to use indicators with other indicators. No indicator really is an all-encompassing tell-all crystal ball, right? So you could be looking at your Bollinger Band here, and you see it breaks out right here next to this right arrow, and you're like, this is just like the last couple times it's done it over the last couple years. I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to buy in. So you don't buy in, and you miss this huge run from 250 to 400, and now you're weeping alone. But if you were a smart person, where I started the slide, and I kind of wanted you guys to look at on yourself, you would see that there is a huge, huge support line, or resistance line, I should say, since it's on the top, and support. Huge resistance line right here, and a huge support line right here, right? More or less. My pen's kind of shifty, so I didn't really draw it straight, but a lot of trader emotion here, some crazy stuff going on down here, I don't know. But for the most part, you guys can see the support and resistance we have going on here. Hopefully, you were able to pick that out before I even got to it. Just love the support and resistance. It shows true. So we have now a couple different indicators working at once now. I'm looking at my chart. I want to get into Tesla long term. I'm a big investor, whatever. I want to throw some good stuff down here, and I don't want to touch it for a while, which is probably good for these blue chip stocks, right? So I'm looking out here. It's breaking out of the we're on the weekly candle, right? So it's breaking out. So I'm getting a little, interested. But it doesn't break. It gets knocked right back down from that resistance. And then it comes back down, and it comes up and tests the resistance again, and then it breaks this resistance. And now we're out for the first time since, well, this is a new high for the stock at this point in time. But I'd say it's the first time it's really tested this resistance since July of 2014, when that wick went over once, which is another reason I don't care about wicks per se, for the most part. But it broke. So what I'm trying to reiterate is use them together. So you have the breakout of the cloud for the Bollinger Band, which kind of cues you that we're moving real quick, especially since this is a weekly. That's pretty cool. And then you have the pullback, test over the support, or I'm sorry, test over the resistance again, and then it breaks that resistance, and you're like, all right, you pull the trigger, I'm in, easy 100,000. No, I'm just kidding. Easy $100 on Tesla. Wait, it's not a coin, so you can't buy partials. God, don't we love coins? Buy in partials. Cool. So you would have bought Tesla right there, and it would have rose up. You could have, depending on how you wanted to trade it, traded around like 380 or whatever this is. And then the volatility has been pretty crazy lately. Not really sure. I haven't been tracking it too much, but that's essentially how you use that. Now, if you look on the bottom, you probably already read it. But so, what is the Bollinger Band? It says a moving average in the middle, right? Usually, I think they're 20-day moving averages in the middle, depending on what time frame again you're looking at. But we're going to go with 20-day moving averages, and then the upper and the lower band are, like I said, right there, 2 standard deviations away from the SMA, right? So when you're setting it up, you can just go in there and you can click how many deviations you want. But from all the reading and all the YouTubing that I've done in the past few years, it's always been 2. That gives you a pretty good price to look at. We kind of talked about breakouts and breakdowns, but I don't think I've defined it yet. But a breakout, as we see over here, if somebody here doesn't know, I think everybody may, but a breakout is when it breaks out of resistance. A breakdown is when it breaks down out of support, right?